I just want to come to you because I know you have gathered some breaking news stories you want to put on the table, as well as if you have anything to add with Advocate Mohsin Rashid, because he has raised a very powerful things that United States is also trying to come to Bangladesh, and he said clearly Bangladesh is not Philippines, Bangladesh is not Japan, Bangladesh is a different kind of country. What is your take on this matter?
Well, thank you for passing the mantle to me. Of course, warm welcome to all my panelists today. And as I was hearing Advocate Mohsin Rashid in what he was saying, America, let's look at all the things that we've seen over the last couple of days. The entire world is now coming out in recognition of a statehood for Palestine, in which it represents to some level of Mr. Mahmoud Abbas, the head of the PLO, of the Palestine Liberation Organization, and to not allow him to come to the United Nations headquarters for a speech. It shows how much the United States is trying to use its powers to not allow. But overwhelmingly enough, the United Nations has said that he will deliver his speech through the use of technology through a recorded address. That is just one of the issues. But this time the UN General Assembly, or better known as the UN 80, has three mottos. It's called Better Together, 80 Years and More, and for Peace, Development and Human Rights. These are the motto that they have established for this year's addresses. But however, I want to put the mantle towards the Middle East, as Advocate Mohsin Rashid was saying, how Israel had committed a genocide in the modern era, in the modern times. And to be honest, there is no kind of consolidation, if you would say, between Israel and its surrounding neighborhoods. They have purposefully attacked 7 other nations in the region, and 7 other nations are definitely thinking that this is a part of Israeli expansionism policies that are playing out in Middle East. Now, coming back to the United Nations, it's been marred with lacking of support from the United States in general, and today allies such as the United Kingdom, the UK, are coming out in outright recognition of the statehood of Palestine, and of course in European Union as a whole is looking forward to further sanctioning arms trade and other kind of sectors which will hamper Israeli settlement and the Israeli administration. But let me give you what the newest country that has recognized Palestine. It was Portugal from Europe who recognized Palestine. So coming back to the main point, and to add on to Advocate Mohsin Rashid, what he was saying, especially regarding Bangladesh, that it's not for sale. No one can come and attack our sovereignty, steal our resources. Well, let me give you just the bottom line here. When there is development or a new finding of resourceful country, that is where America seeks to provide their freedom.
Our international affairs commentator Shamsul Alam Pantho will be traveling tonight to New York. Sir, what are you expecting? What are you thinking to see, and what are you planning to cover for our show?
Well, to be fair and to start, exactly all the streets around the United Nations headquarters are going to be barricaded by the most intelligent security officers in the whole world. That hall room and that entire building will be hosting all the leaders, the top brass of every government on this planet. And of course, I will be there to cover whatever breaking stories that come out, how leaders respond to this debate regarding this two-state solution. And of course, towards the end, there is a matter that definitely concerns Bangladesh. Ever since 2018 until today, we have over 1 million Rohingya people living in Bangladesh, whether it be in camps, whether it be in off-site islands in the Bay of Bengal. But to my understanding, we understand that Myanmar is supposed to have a snap election this December. After this election, will they come to the seat of diplomacy and dialogue? How is the United Nations going to address this issue, especially because Antonio Guterres, alongside Professor Mohammed Yunus, had visited earlier this year towards those sites, and most of the people living there, all they want is repatriation back into their homelands. So this is a matter, and of course ethnic cleansing, if you would call it. Back in the day, they were faced with military action and they were forced to flee for their own life survival. So this is a venue to understand regarding the Rohingya crisis and that issue. But coming back, the entire world wants to see a free, fair and noticeable election coming up in February. These are the, when someone thinks about Bangladesh, it remembers the plight of the students that overthrew and ousted a dictatorship government. But ever since Bangladesh had done so, we have seen this event going through various different countries in Asia. Today, I would like to bring out a breaking news. We've seen anti-corruption protest in Manila, in the Philippines. Some days ago, it was Nepal. Before that, it was Indonesia. Before that, Bangladesh. And before us, it was, of course, Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
So all of these countries going through radical changes. The notion where corruption was blooming so much has been destroyed by the Generation Z, as we so call it. So these are the issues that I will try to gain more information on what world leaders think about, because as it happens, the United Nations is going to be a hot plate.
Nepal has started its direct flight from Kathmandu to Guangzhou, and Nepal has cut down all its flight from Kathmandu to Indian different cities. I want to ask this question to you. What is the significance of these changes of Nepal aviation?
Well, it adds on to a statement that almost all of India's neighbors figured out, India out policy. That's where it's happening. And not just that, when the protests were taking place in Nepal, when Indian journalists from Republic TV tried to take a comment from those who were protesting, they came under attack. The regular citizens in Nepal understand how their neighbor has influence inside their society, how the language between Nepalese and Hindi are so common. So they understand that not all neighbors come with a goodwill of notion, and that boundaries and demarcation lines of various countries are so important and to hold its integrity. Today, most of the world's confrontations are coming from man-drawn lines, man-made lines. These are lines that are not, most definitely not created by God, but they're differentiated by cultures, by languages, by the currency that they deal with. But today I was hearing Advocate Mohsin Rashid on the issue towards one of our borders on the eastern, southeastern areas. We understand that every now and then the forces inside the Rakhine state, they come to hijack our fishermen. Some come back alive, some don't come back. So this is an issue that we not is, it's a burning issue, if you would like to call it. Yesterday, somewhere inside YouTube, I was watching how in a podcast, a leader, or if not someone significant from Tripura, was commenting that they have plans of a greater Tripura land, including the Chittagong hill tracts, which they want to conquer in some kind of conquest. So all of these issues that is definitely regarding border integrity and how it plays on, all of these issues must be addressed, must be taken a note by, of course, Bangladesh armed forces, and of course ISPR should have a more speedy communications with the people and what they are facing at these border incidences. But once again, Bangladesh is in a place where it needs to elect almost 300, if not more, members of parliament, and people are arguing in local politics about PR, this and that. I don't want to get into that issue, but the grandeur issue over here is protecting Bangladeshi sovereignty.
One question I am asking on behalf of my very respectable viewers. They often ask these questions whenever you find the politicians, policymakers ask, when is the election?
I think in some program on some channel, I said that there will be no elections, and I'm still sticking to it, that there will be no elections, at least not in February. Of course, elections will have to be held. We want elections. We want a representative government to be in place, but in February, no elections will be held. And I am simply astounded as to how bodyguards have been taken, like Fakhrul bodyguard, Tahir bodyguard, Athar bodyguard,
There's
Jara
nothing inside.
bodyguard. You know, they've taken, the Yunus has taken their bodyguards just to save him if there's any attack from any other side. Otherwise, they have no role. And in my opinion, as a politician, I say this, they should have never gone with him.
Sir, last question to you as well.
Please.
You are going to face these issues in New York, UN headquarters. How are you going to manage to talk with all the politicians? This is the first time in 54 years that head of the government is visiting United Nations General Assembly with political parties. What kind of approach is this, and what message we get from this kind of approach?
Every now and then I hear you telling me that the media industry is a serious business, and I'm pretty sure becoming a head of state is, of course, the greatest kind of duty one can have. But as I was hearing, sir, I wanted to point out, even in August, we did not feel like we feel today. I would say that time is the greatest enemy of the current administration. If they do not look up to the needs and wants of 200 million people, the same ill fate awaits them.